So real quick, just to go over predatory behavior. I was thinking about this just currently and I wanted to make a quick video about it. There is a lot of advice on predatory behavior and how to protect yourself from it. I've had some moments where I have been in sort of some cases. Everyone in this world is going to be in a position where they're going to experience people that are going to be obsessive and got predatory behavior. So predatory behavior is either got to do with someone that has a neurological disorder, or so maybe they're a psychopath, or they just got some obsessions. But the core thing is it's got to do with obsessions being predatory. One of the obsessions are the most important things that I would want, whoever's watching this to keep in mind. I want you to keep in mind that obviously the decision's up to you, your principles, what you choose to believe and what you choose to do in your life. One of them is time and energy. They try to use your energy to exploit, and they have needs. It might be anything. It might be, money-wise, social relationships, interpersonal needs, maybe a social status, other kinds of needs, and they would try to get it from you, basically. So they need to, it's like a salesman. They need to make the transaction happen in some sort of way. And how that usually happens is they have a need, and to get that need, they need you to be vulnerable. They need you to open up. They need you to break some of your rules, some of your beliefs, your principles, your ideas, your feelings, your emotions, and your energy as a result. So one of the ways would be to get you relaxed to a point where you are less what's the word for it? You are less likely to disagree, less likely to stop them, basically, and push away. One of the ways, most important principles, is they are gonna try to structure this as best as possible. You're going to be put in positions where you're going to have pressure. And to put you in positions that you have pressure, more likely than not, they're going to need access to your time as much as possible. So how this relates to me is, in my culture, they want couples to be as close as possible and spend as much time as possible together, and usually not spending any time with other people, and it to be very surveilled, surveillance from the person that is most likely the predator, let's say. They are surveilling and constantly seeing who's your friends, who's your, cousins, who's your family members. Now, how does this tie into love and relationships and how someone cares about you or not? How do you distinguish between that? Well, for me, the definition of love is someone that is allowed to accept you, to not be with you, to be talking with someone else, or perhaps you found someone better that you want to spend your life with. Someone that cares about you and really loves you would be okay with you not being with them, not being with you, and instead, being with someone else. And to be self-respectful, you would say, that's it then, our relations is finished, and you can try this new journey, because if you're sure, then you can, But predatory behavior and obsessive behavior, which are very linked to each other, they don't want you to go away. They want you to always be with them, to always serve their needs. So the primary thing about these people are they want their needs met. It's for them. It's for me, basically. And if it's for me, if it's constantly consumption, it's not love. It's not even real connection. Connection goes both ways. It's feeding and receiving. It's kind of, you know what I mean? So and also they're very focused on give and takes. Everything is like a transaction, you know. So if they give you 2, they expect to get 5 or maybe 10 or maybe, you know, whatever. That's usually how it works. I know some advice that you say, that I would say, might not be, you can't use it when you're in person because you get lost, you get in love, or it's a family member, so you have a hard time to make any kind of this boundaries happen and this advice to be taken, and you do it. I understand. Being in the moment, it's very, you get caught up in it. So I'm only saying the core things of what you can keep in mind, and maybe you can apply to your principles and the way that you live, and cutting out the rubbish early. Whereas when you're in the middle of it, it's very, very tough to actually cut this out. So they're going to want access to your time, okay? You accepting this person to be around you for long, long periods of time in your life, even if you're a couple, or if this is your dad, your mom, your cousin, whoever it is, don't accept it. I don't recommend. I would expect that as maybe a principle for someone else, for them to be safe, not to accept this kind of rubbish, okay? For someone to love someone else, or to be a couple, to be successful, and to be real is the most important thing, not for success, okay? But these kinds of people, they prioritize success more than real. Real doesn't matter. It matters in my culture, especially the Turkish culture, the Kurdish culture. They prioritize how long something goes for, as long as possible, until it breaks apart, and there's no other choice of it breaking apart, you know? So it just, they artificially try to make it go as long as possible, even they know something that is not right or that is not real, okay? They just see something, these people can't be together, but we need to ensure they be together for as long as possible, you know? I fundamentally disagree with this. The longevity is not important, the reality is important. If it's a real connection, it should be a real connection. And if you was to split up 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, it's good. It's not a bad thing. Whereas not having a real thing and, you know, having it go on for any amount of time is not a good thing. They try to make it normal. They normalize you to spend as much time with this person as possible. This is not fine. This is how predatory behaviors breed, and this is how they make it easy for them to carry out their exploits and their needs. Okay, the key word is needs for them. They need their needs met. You know, it doesn't matter what your opinion is, what you feel like, where you live, what your culture is, what your background is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Both cases, it's to meet needs, whatever it may be. So you need to have a barrier. You need to have a strict principles, and you need to make it clear from the start. I can't spend this much time with you. I don't accept that. This is normal. I don't care. I'm not gonna argue with you. This is my point of view, and it's just how it is. You know, we're gonna continue like this, or if you can see that they have a bad reaction and they don't want to accept it, then I would recommend you cut it and don't be around them. Okay? They will try to find any way to try to convince you. They have much more energy to spend to try to convince you than you have energy to defend yourself. And maybe some of them know this. They have a lot of energy. Okay, even when they get frustrated, they might get angry, but they have a lot of energy. You don't have much energy, especially when you're losing your emotions. When somebody cares about people, they usually lose their emotions and energy much faster than someone that doesn't care about people in general, that they prioritize themselves a lot in life. Okay, this might be someone who's predatory or someone who's not, just someone that is sociopathic. They don't care about people much. They are going to have much more energy. So the longer you play this game, the longer you continue this ride, the more beneficial it is for them. You're going to crumble at the end of the day, and they're not going to crumble as fast. You know, when you get deep into an investment, when you're halfway there, when you're inside of it, it's very, very hard to reassess who you are. You already have a personality, you already have experiences, you already have principles of your own life. It's very, very hard to say, actually, no, I've spent 4 years of this, I need to change my life. Very, very hard for anyone, usually. So at the start, make this clear and be in touch with your feelings, be in touch with your emotions, be in touch with your own thoughts and principles, and just cut the line as soon as possible from the get-go. If you see there is signs, very, very, very often, the last thing I'm going to say, very, very often, they are very good with words. Not all of them, but very often they're very good with words. They will say words, I love you so much, I want to be with you forever, I want to get married with you and no one else, no woman else, or no man else. And I was thinking about wedding dress, I was thinking about having kids with you, blah, 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 blah. When they are desperate to get their needs met. Okay? So their words don't matter. Please pay attention to their actions and take their actions seriously in your mind. And make your own decision based on their actions, not whatever word that came out of their mouth. It can be anything. I love you so much. You are the greatest thing that happened to me. They write a poem about you, for example. Even that, don't. What do I mean by actions? If it was to be written as a poem, is how much sacrifice they needed to make. If they had to make a lot of sacrifice, then they do probably care about you. Whether it's healthy or unhealthy, I'm not sure. I don't know. But I know that at least they care about you. If it's low sacrifice, okay, if you only need a word to convince you to do something, then it's very low sacrifice. They probably don't love you or even care about you for that matter. Thanks for watching this video. Hope this was something, and I'll see you in the next.